and was supposed to be a simple road trip, a break from the everyday grind, a chance to explore the open road with friends and discover new places. But nothing about this trip was ever going to be simple. Jess, Tom, Rachel, and Sam had been driving through the vast, empty countryside for hours when they first saw it. A small, weathered sign beside the road that read, "Welcome to Ravensbrook." It wasn't on any of their maps, and there were no nearby towns listed on their GPS, but the sign intrigued them. After all, they were explorers, always looking for new experiences, and this small, unmarked town seemed like the perfect place to stop and stretch their legs. As they drove into the town, a heavy fog rolled in. It was strange. The fog appeared out of nowhere, suffocating the town in an almost unnatural silence. Ravensbrook looked like a place frozen in time. Cracked sidewalks, peeling paint on the houses, and a central square where statues of long-forgotten figures stood eerily still. No cars were in sight, and the town seemed empty, though they could feel eyes watching from behind the shuttered windows. They parked near the town square, their footsteps the only sound echoing on the pavement. The town was still. Too still. "Let's split up and explore a bit," Tom suggested, his voice sounding too loud in the silence. Reluctantly, they agreed. Jess, the most curious of the group, wandered toward a narrow street that led to what appeared to be a small library. As she stepped inside, the musty smell of old paper and dust filled her nose. The shelves were packed with forgotten books, some with cracked spines and pages yellowed with age. There was a strange chill in the air, and as she flipped through one of the books, she stumbled upon a faded newspaper clipping. The headline read, "Ravensbrook abandoned. No one left to tell the story." She felt a cold shiver run down her spine. The article described a sudden, unexplained departure of the town's inhabitants. The last line of the article was even more chilling. "The town now stands as a ghost of the past, its history erased, its people lost to time." Meanwhile, Sam and Rachel had found an old cafe near the square. The windows were caked with dirt, and the chairs inside were overturned, as though the people who had once sat there had left in a hurry. Sam pushed open the door, and it creaked loudly, breaking the eerie silence. Inside, the air was thick with a smell of mildew and abandonment. "Do you feel that?" Rachel whispered, her voice trembling. "It's like something's watching us." Sam nodded. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up. But they pressed on, curiosity driving them further into the cafe. As they explored the back, Rachel froze, her eyes fixated on something in the corner. A small, dust-covered box sat on a table, with strange symbols etched into its surface. When Sam reached for the box, a sharp sound echoed from upstairs, like something heavy scraping against the floor. The two froze, listening. It came again, scraping, slow and deliberate. It was as though someone or something was moving across the floor above them. "Let's go!" Sam said, a nervous edge to his voice. Back in the town square, Tom was looking around at the statues in the center. They were unnervingly lifelike, each one with a different expression, as though frozen in time. Some had faces twisted in agony, others in sorrow. But there was one that caught his eye, a statue of a young woman whose eyes seemed to follow him. It was positioned near the old town hall, where the windows were cracked and boarded up. As he moved closer to the statue, he noticed something strange etched into the base of the pedestal. "Beware, the curse of Ravensbrook. Once you enter, you can never leave." His heart began to race. What had they stumbled into? Suddenly he heard footsteps behind him, light, quick, almost as if someone were trying to sneak up on him. He turned, but there was no one there. He glanced over to where Rachel and Sam had gone, but they had yet to return. In the distance, Jess came running back, her face pale and wide-eyed. "We need to leave, now!" she gasped. "I don't think we're supposed to be here." "Jess, what happened?" Tom asked, his voice urgent. but Jess could barely speak, her hands trembling as she pointed toward the town's edge. It's not just the town that's wrong, it's stuck, trapped in time. It's like the town never left the past. "Start messing around, Jess," Tom said. But deep down, he could feel it too. The oppressive atmosphere of the place. The way everything felt wrong. "We'll get out of here soon." But as they started to head back to their car, they heard the sounds of footsteps, but not from any of their group. It was a rhythmic shuffle, like dozens of people walking in sync. The group spun around, but there was no one there. The fog had thickened, now obscuring the entire town. Suddenly, the old town bell tolled, echoing across the empty streets. The town was coming alive, but not in a way they could understand. They ran back to their car, only to find it had vanished. The place they had parked earlier was now an empty lot, completely different from what it had been just hours ago. Panic set in as they realized they couldn't escape. A voice whispered on the wind, "Once you enter Ravensbrook, you can never leave." As the fog swallowed them whole, the friends were left standing in a place that existed neither in the present nor the past, a place cursed and forgotten by time. They were trapped, destined to become part of Ravensbrook's history, lost to the world, fading into the ghostly memories of the forgotten town.